Former Democratic National Committee chairman and 2004 presidential hopeful Howard Dean stopped by last weekend's Netroots Nation conference in Providence to rally progressive activists. Does Dean view the Wisconsin recall as a setback for Democrats, and has Labor's role changed in the wake of Tom Barrett's loss? We spent a few minutes chatting with Dean ahead of his Saturday night remarks to the crowd.
Energized. First of all, we look at Wisconsin as a win. Which is not reported in the mainstream media, we picked up a Senate seat which denies Scott Walker a majority of the Senate. So we put the brakes on him, at least until the next election season. Secondly, I always thought the base would come around because, as they like to say in Obama land, we're not running against the Almighty, we're running against the alternative. Mitt Romney, I think, is well known among the American people, let alone progressives, as somebody who mostly caters to very wealthy Americans and doesn't have a lot of understanding or sympathy for those who aren't. So I am pretty sure we're in good shape, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a big progressive turnout.
Great. Are you seeing a difference in the mood here this year compared to in previous years? Last year there were some combative moments, and this time around it seems so far anyway.
Well, again, this is the fourth quarter. I mean, I've had my differences with the administration, particularly over health care policy, but this is the fourth quarter. I always used to say when I was DNC chair, we're going to elect a Democratic president and then hold their feet to the fire and make sure they behave like Democrats. But in the fourth quarter, everybody's on the same team again. We've got to win this game. I hesitate to think what's going to happen to the budget deficit because, of course, the Republicans are the biggest creators of budget deficits. Should Romney win and have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. So, I think we'll get a big turnout.
Do you think there's a change in the relationship now between the Democratic base and Labor in particular? I've talked to a couple of activists here who say that they're a little dispirited. They don't know whether engaging in electoral politics is the best role for labor unions after Wisconsin.
Well, I think the parameters have changed dramatically. The old politics is not going to work anymore. We're not going to be able to outspend the Republicans under the circumstances of Citizens United. So I think we have to look for a different kind of politics. And I think that the campaign actually in Wisconsin, the principal problem was not being outspent. The principal problem was people were tired of elections. Had they waited another 3 months, they might have gotten an indictment of the administration, and that would have been significant grounds to throw out a sitting governor. But I think a lot of people didn't think so. I mean, the most interesting thing about the Wisconsin race was the fact that about 10% of the electorate that voted to keep Walker also said that they would support Obama in the fall, which gave Obama the state. So we'll see. I'm not one of those who thought last week was a bad week for the Democrats. I actually thought it was a good week for the Democrats.
And how about in the fall? Do you think that when it comes to Obama communicating with the base and doing things that will energize the base, is there anything that you would like to see him do in particular between?
I think just keep hammering away at Romney's. The one thing you've got to hammer at people's beliefs. You can't sort of convince people that, for example, as the Republicans are trying to do, that the problem with the president was born in Kenya. I mean, that's just not going to work. But you don't have to convince people that that Romney only cares about rich people, because that's what they believe already. So you just have to keep hammering that message home that this is not a guy who understands you. And I think we're going to win.